Hi everyone. Right, so it's been about 10 minutes now. Hope you all went and made yourself a cup of tea or something like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a look at the nails that we've put the wraps onto and see kind of how we go from there. So I'm going to move the camera down a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to... There we go, bring the camera down a little bit longer. Okay, so this one was the gel polish. This is the lovely lime green that I'm wearing. So I'm just going to take the foil off, so just pull it off. Remember, pop these into a bowl or something like that. So can you see that the gel polish has gone all bubbly? So we're going to take our cuticle stick, skewer, teaspoon, whatever it is you're using, and you can see there, all of that gel just starts to crumble away. So don't poke around too hard with this, you don't want to hurt yourself. Okay, if you get any stubborn bits you can sort of go back the other way if you need to, but the majority of that gel has literally just popped off. There we go. So you can see their nails should look pretty good underneath. It will be a little bit on the dry side, that's purely just from the acetone and everything else. So what we're going to do now with that, I'm just leaving this dip polish one on for a bit longer. So what I'm going to do now is I would take a softer file, not that big rough one that I said before, unless you've got some stubborn bits on there that won't come off. What you could do is if you've got some stubborn bits, is you could just rewrap it, leave it for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then the rest of it should just pop off. But if you've got a relatively clean nail like this, I'm just going to take my little buffer that I showed you earlier, and all I'm going to do is just very gently just buff any little rough kind of edges off of the nail. Just really gently, only really go in one direction when you're doing this. You don't want to create too much friction. That's when we start to make our nails really thin and sore and you start to get those nasty red patches on them. Okay, and that is it. And then what you can do after that is you can literally just tidy up the edges if you need to, just make it all nice and neat. Okay, so that's the gel polish off. So you can see I've just got a little pile of sort of dry kind of little bits of gel polish there. What I wanted to say earlier in the last video as well is that the best advice I can give you with this is if your nails are okay at the moment, and they're not really lifting or anything like that, then what I would suggest is try and leave them on for as long as possible. The longer that gel or that dip powder's on your nails and it's not lifting and it's not causing you a problem, it's actually going to protect your nails a lot better than trying to remove them, because this is where some people can come into trouble and obviously start to kind of like damage their nails. If they have started lifting and you are getting some little bits and pieces that are catching them, that's the time to really think about trying to remove them. But like I say, if they're pretty good at the moment and you have gone a little bit over your appointment, but they're still pretty much okay, it may be more the length that's just annoying you at the moment, then what you can do is you can just trim them down and file them and keep them nice and neat. And then once they start to get to a problem where maybe you're getting some lifting, then take them off. But my advice is just to keep them shorter. Don't let them really grow out and leave them too long, because that's when they'll start to make the nails bend more. But certainly if the gel or anything isn't lifting, then just file them back if you need to, or trim them. And exactly the same with your toenails as well. I was going to say about toenails is that you know, most of us go months and months with our gel on our toes, which is absolutely fine. Again, you can just trim them and file them and leave them on. So most of you probably won't need to go through this process on your toes, but if you desperately need to, obviously it is the same process. But that is my advice, is try and leave whatever you've got on your nails on for as long as you possibly can until they get to the point where they really need to come off, and then do this as a last resort if you need to. So we're not going anywhere at the moment, most of us, so no one's really going to see our hands or our feet too much at the moment. So if you can kind of go with it, then that's the best course of action. Right, okay, so just while we've got the camera in this position, what I'm going to do now is we're going to have a little look at the dip powder. So again, we just pull this off. So you can see there's a slight difference with dip powder here. It goes a little bit more like chewing gum. You can, I mean, I've got gloves on here. You could put a pair of rubber gloves on, or if you've got some of these disposable gloves, I know a lot of us will be wearing these at the moment, especially when you're going shopping and stuff like that. You can see it kind of just comes off like chewing gum. It just really, you don't even really need, if you've got gloves on, you don't really even need your little orange stick. You might need that for some little more stubborn bits, but generally that's come off. So then what you could do is just take your slightly rougher foil again, because this is a little bit thicker, and just very gently just buff those little bits off. Again, same process. If you need to rewrap this, rewrap it, leave it for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back to it. Don't be tempted to pick it or pull it off if it won't come off. Okay, obviously this is a lovely shade of blue, which has left my cuticles nice and blue. Okay, so there's a little tiny bit left on here, so I'm just going to very gently just buff that. If you don't want to spend ages buffing or anything like that, then obviously just put some wraps on, but just repeat that process until that all comes off. Okay, so I would actually put another wrap on there now, just for about 5 minutes, just to kind of get the rest of that off. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to take another little piece of my cotton wool here, pop a little bit more remover on, wrap that round, take another little piece of foil, and I'm just going to wrap that up for a few more minutes. Okay, and just make sure obviously you put all your foil and any little bits and stuff, but can you see the difference there with the dip powder and kind of how it comes off? So it's sort of thicker. It is a little bit more kind of like gum, like chewing gum. Obviously that's got some of the cotton wool stuck to it as well, compared to kind of the crumbliness of the gel. So you can kind of see the difference in the two systems there. This one's because we're using like a resin that goes in between that builds up the powder layers, and that's where the acrylic element of it comes into it. And obviously with the gel, it just kind of crumbles and breaks up because it's a much thinner product. So you can see kind of why the dip powder takes a little bit longer. And obviously when I do your nails, I'm using kind of 3 coats of the powder for strength as well. So it will take a little bit longer. It's a much thicker product. So just while we're waiting for the rest of the dip powder to come off, I'm just going to bring it back up here. Just to kind of talk to you a little bit, if you've got people at home who are wearing acrylics, so I don't know, say you've got younger daughters, or you've got family members or something who've been to other nail salons or nail shops or something and had their nails done, and they may have extensions or something on. You can remove acrylics this way, but it will take a very long time. My best advice is with acrylic, particularly nail extensions, they are a lot thicker. So when it comes to buffing them at the beginning, you're going to really need to buff them down quite a bit because they're quite thick. I would say cut them down as well. Try and take a lot of the length out of them, and then try and buff some of the thickness away. And then really what you need to do is get like a ceramic or a glass bowl. And with the acetone that I mentioned, or the artificial nail remover, pop some of the acetone in the bowl, just enough to cover the nails, and then just sit there with the nails in the acetone. That's the best way. They need to just be submerged really into the acetone. And if you can, try and heat that acetone up somehow. Best way to do that is if you put the acetone into a small bowl that's big enough to put your hand into, and then place that inside a larger bowl that's got some hot water in the bottom. So you don't want to mix water with the acetone, make sure they're in separate bowls. So sit the smaller bowl inside a bigger bowl, kind of like a water bath, with some hot water, just from hot water from the tap, or a kettle that's been left to cool for a little while, because obviously you don't want to burn your fingers. And again, that's how you'll get the heat in. And then while your hands are in the bowl, maybe just pop a tea towel or a little hand towel or something like that over the bowls, just to keep some of the steam and some of the heat in. You're going to need to sit there for a good half an hour or so, I would say, before you even look at them. Take them out, and then you scrape them in exactly the same way I've shown you, but that is going to be a bit of a longer process. You're going to need to keep dipping them back in, scraping them, dipping them, scraping them, possibly buff them a little bit in between. So you can still do it yourself at home, but it is going to be a much longer process than, say, removing your gel polish or something like that. So as I just said while I was showing you the dip removal, if there's any little stubborn bits left on the nail, just rewrap them again with some fresh cotton wool and some foil. So if you've got any stubborn bits of gel or anything left on there, do that. But as I said before, if you possibly can, the best thing to do is leave whatever you've got on your nails on them for as long as possible, to prevent kind of any drying out or damage on the nails until you can get back to see me or whoever it is you're going to see for your nails. The best tips I can give you really is, if they are okay and they're not lifting and they're not causing you any problems, just trim them if you need to, keep them filed, keep them neat. there's been a lot of advice going around at the moment as well to keep your nails a lot shorter, particularly if you are still out and about and you're working and stuff like that, because there is a lot of suggestion that, particularly with this virus, that longer nails obviously can collect more germs and things underneath them. So a lot of people are saying you should be keeping your nails shorter to ensure your hands are properly clean and things like that. So it's not a bad thing keeping our nails a bit shorter at the moment. So if you can, keep whatever you've got on them for as long as you possibly can. If you do desperately need to remove them, then obviously follow the steps that I've shown you. And if you get into any problems, then obviously just pop me a message. It's absolutely fine. So that's kind of it to kind of remove the gel and the dip. I'm just going to check this one again in a minute. But just really just to kind of show you how we kind of would finish this off. So the nails shouldn't look too bad. They'll be a little bit kind of dehydrated looking. So what we now want to do is we want to get some moisture back into the nails and we want to protect them. So this is where a lot of you who are used to having their nails done with me, you'll know that I talk about cuticle oil all the time. So most of you should have cuticle oil at home. If you don't, again, you can get some. If you haven't got any cuticle oil, you can't get hold of any, olive oil, coconut oil, anything you have in the cupboard is absolutely fine to use as a substitute. Cuticle oils are better, obviously, if you can get them, because they are designed specifically for the nails. A lot of them use things like soy, almond oils, that kind of thing. They're a lot thinner, so they're designed to really penetrate the nail. But if you can't, then like say olive oil, coconut oil, anything like that's absolutely fine. Hand creams are imperative at the moment as well. We are washing our hands so much with antibacterial soaps, hand sanitizers. I've yet to come across anyone whose hands aren't dry because of this. So cuticle oil, hand cream, pimp up your hand creams as well, add some oils and things into them, create a little bit like an overnight treatment for your hands. If you've got cotton gloves you can put on, or while you sleep, so just really saturate your hands in some hand cream, add a little bit of your cuticle oil to your hand cream, or add some things like some coconut oil or something into your hand creams to make them a little bit more intensive. Cotton gloves overnight is really good because it helps the product to absorb into the skin. Or you could give your hands a little bit of a treat, wrap them in some cling film, put like a heated wheat bag if you've got one, or even just like a warm towel. Just put a towel from the airing cupboard or somewhere where you can warm a towel, like pop it in the tumble dryer or something like that, and wrap your hands in a really nice warm towel. So pop loads of hand cream and stuff on them, wrap them in some cling film just to really keep all the moisture on the skin, and then wrap them in a really lovely warm towel. Sit there for 10-15 minutes and it will just help the skin to absorb all of that lovely moisture. Treat yourself to a hand scrub as well. You can make your own hand scrubs at home. If you've got a body scrub or something like that, great, nothing too rough or anything, but a really gentle exfoliator just to exfoliate all the dead skin cells away, and then do a nice moisturising hand treatment on them. You can make your own scrubs at home as well. Again, just a little bit of olive oil or some coconut oil or something. Add like a teaspoon of sugar or some sea salt or something. A little bit of lemon juice is good because it's antiseptic. And then just really work that into the hands really gently, just to remove any dead skin. Give them a really good rinse, and then follow with your hand creams and your oils and things, and treat them to a little bit of a hand, almost like a little facial for your hands. Wrap them in some cling film, nice towel from the tumble dryer, or keep it on the radiator or something like that. Wrap your hands for like 10-15 minutes, then really work all that product into the skin. I'll do a separate little tutorial on a little hand treatment over the next couple of days, so I'll kind of work on that and I'll do that for you. But those are some tips I can give you for sort of like your dry hands and stuff. And that's kind of it really. So I'm just going to take the rest of this off just to show you, and then I'll show you how we get some moisture back into the nails. The nail treatments, the things that we're going to want to do are going to be a bit of a process. You're going to need to, you can see that nail there. I'll just bring that down a little bit for you. You can see that's all popped off now. That last little bit of dip just came straight off in the tin foil. So I'm just going to go over with my buffer, just make sure there's nothing left on there. Perfect, all off. So yeah, so I would say the dip's going to take a little bit longer, probably about 15-20 minutes to take the dip off. Okay, so you can see that's my index finger, that's my thumb. So nails are in pretty good shape. So now what we want to do, so I've just gone over with the buffer just to make them nice and smooth. Another little tip you can do with this now is what you could do, going back to what I just said about treating your hands, is you could get yourself a nice bowl of water. So just a nice little bowl, fill it up with some warm water, pop a few drops of olive oil, a little teaspoon of coconut oil or something like that in there, and just soak your hands for about 10 minutes. That's going to get lots of moisture back into your nails. and it's going to really treat them and rehydrate them. So that's another really good tip. And I'll put that in with the hand treatment little video that I'll do later this week. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take a little piece of cotton wool or a lint-free wipe or something like that. Just going to bring you back up a little bit. And I'm just going to clean over the nail. So all I'm going to do now is just take a little bit of nail polish remover or something like that. And just literally just wipe over the nail just to make sure there's no dust or any chemicals or anything left on the fingers. If you're going to do the nail soak afterwards, that's fine. That'll get all that off. You can use a little nail brush as well if you want to, just go under the backs of the nails. Okay, so I've just cleaned those off. So what we're going to do now is we need to get some treatment on there. So this is where things like your cuticle oil is going to come in. So these are the little solar oils that we sell in the salon, the little Creative Nail Design solar oils. Okay, so some of you may already have those. We also have these, the little Rescue RX products as well. We sell these in the salon. So these are a keratin based treatment for the nail. It is a nail strengthener. It's not a polish. It's kind of a combination of a nail treatment and a cuticle oil. So you paint this onto the nail, but then you actually massage it into the nail. So all around the cuticle, around the back of the nail, and just let this soak in. So this is a keratin treatment, but it's got all the benefits of an oil as well. So it doesn't dry like a polish. You just pop this on a couple of times a day and massage it into the nail, and all the keratin in there is going to help to rebuild and re-strengthen the nail. I know some of you may already have some of these when you have breaks from your gel in between, so you can grab those out and use those as well. The other thing you can do, some of you may have, we have these in the salon. This is the OPI Nail Envy that we use, which is a nail strengthener. So this is a polish. You would paint this onto the nail, and then what we recommend with this is that you apply one coat every day for 7 days, remove it, and then start again. And this will just build up to strengthen, rehydrate, and really kind of rebuild and strengthen the nail. So that's an option as well. I do have stock of the Rescue RX, so I have stock of these in the salon that I can post to you if you want me to. And I also have stock of the little CND cuticle oils. So the cuticle oils are £3 and the RX are £4.50. So if you want one of these, let me know and I can pop them in a little jiffy bag and post them to you. I've got a post office just down the road from me in the shop, so I'm happy to go and do that as my daily exercise if you want me to. We don't have any of the OPI in stock, but you can get hold of this online, and some of the larger boot stores sell OPI. So it's the green Nail Envy that you want, because they do different colours. This is the green, the original one. This is the nail strengthener. The other ones are for all different other nail conditions, but this is the one you want to really protect your nails after your gels and your dip polish comes off. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a little coat of the Nail Envy just onto both of my nails that I've taken this off. So I'm just going to pop just a thin coat on there, and then just cap the free edge. When you have taken your gels off, what I would suggest is that you cut your nails down as well. Don't leave them too long. I know some of you like your nails particularly long, but what I will say is that when they get quite dry, and if they haven't seen the light of day for a while, you're not going to be used to having them with nothing on them, so they may feel quite flexible. So just be careful with them, because you might break them when you're sort of doing, just be aware that things like gel and dip powder, when they're on them, they will make your nails stronger, they'll make them tougher. So just really be careful with your natural nails, because they will, it's not that they're weak or anything like that, it's just you're not used to them being that soft. So just be careful. My best advice to you is, if you are going to take your gels and things off, is to just keep them a bit shorter so that you don't catch them. And just make sure you've got a nail file and stuff like that with you at home, or if you popped out, you've got one in your bag in case you catch something. You don't be tempted to bite them or pull them off. So I've just popped a coat of Nail Envy just on both of those nails. You can see they're nice and shiny now again. And then once that's dry, this takes about 60 seconds to dry for one coat. Once you pop that on, then you can just take some of your cuticle oil and then just massage this into the cuticles. Really imperative that you start a good process of using your cuticle oil every day, particularly with all the hand washing. So you're just going to brush that just around the cuticle area, and then we're just going to massage that in and go all round the back of the nail as well. Okay, the reason we go round the back of the nail is because that is also living dry nail under there, so you want to get that right around the back, so as it grows up that's not getting dry and brittle underneath. So rub it all around the edge, same here, and all around the back. For any of you wondering why I've got a glove on this hand, it's only because I've got gel polish on this hand. It takes me ages to do my own nails, so it's just so I didn't get any remover on this hand. Okay, and that's it. So there you go. That is how to remove your gel polish and your dip powder. If you've got any questions at all, then feel free to pop me a message on Facebook, Instagram, pop us an email. And as I said before, I'm going to pop another little video up later this week of a little kind of like a homemade hand ritual, if you like, just to really rehydrate those dry hands. But there's a few tips in this video for you just to kind of keep you going for the time being, but I'll do a specific little hand tutorial. If there's anything else you want me to kind of video or put online, then just let us know. And what I was also going to do maybe this week or next week is do like a nice little kind of home mini facial as well, just to kind of really keep our skin nice and hydrated while we're stuck indoors and everything else. The sun is coming out, and apparently the weather is meant to get warmer, so please wear your SPF when you're outside. Don't forget to put your SPF on. I know we might only be going outside for short periods of time every day, but it's so important that we protect our skin. We don't want to be getting sunburnt, particularly if our skin is drier and more dehydrated. You don't want your skin to get too damaged in the sun, so please make sure you're still wearing your SPFs. Have them in stock at the salon as well if you need any more. So let me know. All the Caudalie products are in stock. So if anyone's running low on their skincare, please don't panic. You can message me and I can post them out to you if you want me to. Okay. So that's it really from this kind of video today. If there's anything I haven't covered or anything you're not sure of, like I say, send me a message. The salon phone's on, so you can call me as well. I think I've got around to calling most of you about your appointments now. There may be a few people that I'm just either waiting, I've left messages for and I'm waiting for you to call me back, or I'm going to get back on the phone today. I think I've managed to either email, text, WhatsApp, or call most of you now. As I said to anyone that I've spoken to already over the last week, is that I have cancelled all appointments up until the 1st of May. From the 1st of May onwards, this is still very much under review. I've managed to get most of you back in the diary, so you know you have an appointment with me, but it obviously is governed by kind of what the government are doing and how well this lockdown is working. So anything up to the 1st of May is cancelled. Anything after that is under review, but fingers crossed, I will be seeing you all soon. So please take care, look after yourselves. I hope you're all staying safe. We are all healthy in the Drury household at the moment. Fingers crossed it stays that way, and hopefully I will see you all soon. Take care, guys. Miss you. See you soon.